Watch these weasels closely. After crossing the warm winter border, they've turned into white weasels. Several little rabbits hopped in one after another. This piqued the curiosity of Tinker Bell, the warm fairy. She followed them into the winter forest. Suddenly, her wings burst into dazzling rainbow light. The animal fairy quickly pulled her back to the warm forest. If she'd been a moment later, Tinker Bell's wings might have frozen solid. She told her sisters about the glowing wings, but everyone insisted it was just the reflection of ice and snow. Unconvinced, Tinker Bell decided to return to the winter forest to investigate. She donned her handmade clothes and quietly climbed into a basket destined for the winter forest. The owl transporting the basket happened to be an apprentice. Stumbling along the way, it slammed the basket down upon arrival. Tinker Bell then hid inside a house. Her wings glowed with color once more, and another snow fairy's wings within the house shone with the same light. Both of them curiously studied each other. This left the fairy professor utterly dumbfounded. He wanted to understand why their wings glowed. He tapped the ground with his staff, and a giant snowflake lifted them up. As their spread wings touched, past scenes appeared in the air. It turned out they were twin sisters. Before Tinker Bell became a fairy, one stayed in the winter forest, while the other drifted to the warm forest. From then on, the sisters were separated by the heavens, but whenever they drew near, their wings would emit a signal. This was the reason their wings could glow. Yet Tinker Bell couldn't stay long in the winter forest. She could only part from her sister temporarily, but she promised her sister she would find a way to bring her to the warm forest to see it. Soon, with the help of friends, Tinker Bell crafted a snowmaking chariot. One truly had to admire the creativity of the artisan fairies. With her friend's skilled operation, it actually produced snowflakes. The younger sister crossed the warm winter border, becoming the second snow fairy to reach the warm forest. Curiosity filled her as she explored every corner of the warm forest. Tinker Bell's sisters had prepared even more surprises. Water Fairy drew up a column of water, revealing several fish before the younger sister. Light Fairy conjured a dazzling rainbow. Wherever Garden Fairy passed, all flowers bloomed instantly. Animal Fairy summoned countless butterflies. Garden Fairy kindly offered a flower. The younger sister also showcased her skill. She encased the flower in ice. Then the younger sister began wiping sweat incessantly, before collapsing to the ground. Her wings began to melt away. They hurriedly carried her toward the winter forest. The winter forest king also rushed over. Under the king's guidance, the younger sister tried spreading her wings. Fortunately, it was a close call. The king commanded the younger sister never to set foot in the warm forest again. After a brief reunion, the sisters had to part ways once more. The queen of the warm forest and the king of the winter forest told them both the same story.
Long ago, when Pixie Hollow was very young, two fairies met and fell in love. One of them was a winter fairy,
and the other was from the warm seasons. So they disregarded the danger and crossed.
One of them broke a wing.
From that day forward, Queen Clarion decreed that fairies must never again cross the border.
And the two fairies?
They had to say goodbye.
Just then, the snow machine that fell into the glacier altered the climate of the warm forest. A cold front is sweeping across the entire warm forest, and Warm Fairy faces a tremendous crisis. A sudden cold snap swept through the warm forest. The fairies must race against the chill to protect the fairy dust tree that grants them flight.
Tinkerbell!
Queen Clarion! They can help. Our frost. It covers like a blanket. It can protect the tree.
Do it.
The younger sister led the fairies to begin frosting the fairy dust tree. As the cold front approached, they couldn't fully protect the tree in time. Just then, the winter forest king arrived with snow fairies to assist. Hope flickered in everyone's eyes. The snow fairies split into two groups. One protected the fairy dust tree, the other safeguarded all warm forest vegetation. Owls released more fairies, racing against the cold front. Wherever they went, frost instantly formed, and soon their task was complete. Then the king had the warm fairies hide in tree hollows, while he led the snow fairies to guard the fairy dust tree outside. The cold front froze the entire warm forest. Now they could only wait quietly for fate's arrangement. The next day, a ray of sunlight streamed in. They stepped out of the tree hollow. The ice slowly began to melt. Suddenly, the fairy dust tree produced a large amount of fairy dust. Everyone's efforts had finally paid off. All were celebrating their victory. Only Tinker Bell stood still. It turned out that while seeking Snow Fairy's help, she had frostbitten her wings. Her sister embraced her to comfort her, but now the sunlight grew stronger. Her sister had to bid farewell to Tinker Bell and head to the winter forest.
Sisters. Sisters. Jingles!
After the sisters' wings touched, Tinker Bell's wing was partially restored. They joined their wings together once more, and a miracle truly occurred. Tinker Bell's wing was fully restored. The man in the story who sacrificed his wing for love was none other than the King of Winter Woods.